regular council meeting to order, City, St. John, March 19th, 2024. We need to add some additions to the agenda, 3 of them to be exact. We need a 10-minute executive session for attorney-client privilege. Is there a motion?
Make a motion to add a 10-minute executive session for attorney-client privilege, to go at the end of the meeting.
Yeah, probably.
Second.
Just so everybody knows, Danny's got that NISBA meeting
Right.
tonight.
He's still in this come.
Yeah, what he said, depending on how quickly we get through the meeting, maybe we should just call him, if he's still 30 minutes
Okay.
away, then we'll decide if we wanna either just adjourn and move it to the next meeting, or just wait for him.
Okay.
I
So we
second
have a
it.
motion in a second.
Got a motion and a second on the table. Any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Passes 4-0. Show Mark Bryant being one. And the second one would be a 2023 audit report by Adams, Brown, Barron, and Ball. We need to include Delaney here to represent that.
I make a motion that we add an audit report from Delaney from Adams Brown, put it after the SPPC presentation.
Second.
Motion on the table and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Passes 4-0. The third one would be add a Kansas dirt bill to consent agenda for the amount of $27,755.04.
27.
Put that under the All Tech Industries.
I'd make a motion to add Kansas Dirt bill to the consent agenda in the amount of $27,755.04.
Got a motion on the table
Second.
and a second by Aaron. Any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Passes 4-0.
Should we add one more for discussion about Mark Bryant?
Yes, we could do that.
Probably do that in executive.
Right. So
Want
make
another
it,
executive
yeah.
session? Okay.
maybe we need a separate one for that.
Yeah, we do that.
Make a motion to talk about, Mark Bryant in an executive session at the end of the.
Well, what is it? We probably need to, there's like 5 reasons we can go to executive session, right? But this would be health, or what would be personal? What would be the reasoning that we could go to executive session?
I can't answer that. Can you go, Laura?
See, that's like, cause he's an elected person, so it wouldn't be non-elect.
And we put elected personnel.
It's in the same book or not.
Towards the front.
Executive session. Where? Maybe chapter 10 for open meetings.
So you do is just
Google it.
be the add interim president. Until he gets recovered.
But, maybe we could just do that under the
Right.
business and
Okay.
discuss putting,
Let's do that, yeah.
second, I guess, or a backup.
Correct. Yeah.
That we can just decide that tonight in open meeting.
We'll just do that, new business.
Think
Do
that's
we need
it?
a motion for that? Add it to the agenda?
No, we'll just discuss it under new business.
Okay. Okay, now where we at here?
Citizen comment.
Let's see, that's all the additions. Anybody else need to add anything else? Before we talk about it? Okay, citizen comments. Anybody have any citizen comments? No citizen comments. Next in line is, spill prevention, control, and countermeasure program by Steve Spencer, Midwest Training. turn it over to you.
That's me. I appreciate you guys letting me share this information. So I'm Steve Spencer. I work for Rick Smith. He's the owner of Midwest Training and Consulting Services. We wrote 140 spill prevention plans last year. We just passed our halfway mark with the counties in the state with providing our service, mostly spill prevention plans. We also do some other compliance programs, but EPA came out with spill prevention back in the 70s. It was the very first thing they came out with. It's an actual federal requirement. What can I say about it? Its purpose is, of course, what it sounds like. It's to prevent, polluting the grounds and the waters. I just was reading through this thing. I was looking for some material to share with you guys. 1 gallon of oil can contaminate 1 million gallons of water. I know you guys are probably a little ways from water, probably thinking, but this Rattlesnake Creek, I think it flows to Quivira, right? Am I wrong? And that's kind of a biggie. A spill prevention plan is good for 5 years, and then EPA will let you, if it's current when you write it, they'll let you go 5 years, and then they want you to review it again. So they're good for 5 years, unless you have any major changes like new tanks or you're moving stuff around. In the spill prevention plan, it's going to have pictures, maps of the facility. They're site specific. It's going to have, it's going to meet all the EPA, ours are going to meet all the EPA regulations. Yours is going to have a PE signature. It's going to have forms for employee training, which is important, and tank inspections. Your tanks, I don't know if you've had a tank integrity test done on those tanks. Horizontal tanks are good for 20 years after a tank integrity test. I'm not sure how long it's been since those tanks were tank integrity tested. Do you have any idea, Curtis?
I want to say it's less than 10.
It is less than 10?
Actually.
That's good. I was looking at them, and if they're still working, if they're still viable tanks, I would consider sanding them and painting them, because that'll keep them from degrading faster. I mean, they'll last a lot longer, and it's a big investment. We actually work for Stafford County Public Works. We did a spill prevention plan for them. Any questions about SBCC? Anybody have any? I know when I leave here, I'm gonna think of a ton of things that I should have said, but of course it's gonna tell you what to do, who to call in case of a spill. Chances are, that, and I'm just gonna be honest, EPA may never come through and do an audit. But if you were to have a spill, a significant spill, I know you got a containment wall and everything, but that could, initiate an EPA investigation, and that wouldn't be good if you didn't have a plan in place.
So we don't have a plan.
You may have one, but it may be out of date.
It's birthday.
Okay.
And we'd like to update that for you. Like I said, yours is going to require a professional engineer signature because you have over 10,000 gallons of fuel stored there. We drive by here 3 or 4 times a year. This gentleman I work for, he covers like half the states in the union, but he wants to focus on Kansas and Missouri, and that's my job, is to pick on folks like you. But we'd like to get you guys in compliance with that. And it's really more than just it's kind of like fishing without a fishing license, but it's really more than that. It's teaching and sharing with your employees that are involved with that equipment, what to do in case something happens. So you're protecting your employees and the community with this. So it's kind of more than just following the EPA federal requirements.
Just for the record, what's the kind of expensive?
It's $2,600. Our PE charges us $600 to do it, and we consider it a larger plan. being over 10,000 gallons is a larger plan than a small plan. Under 10,000 is, we charge 1,500 for under 10,000. Oh, and it's gonna include everything at the facility, the generators, however much, we do an inventory of everything that has oil in it, in a 55-gallon drum or larger. It'll be an inventory of all that in that plan.
Is that 2,600 for the plan and, training for the employees? Is that all of it, or is that training?
Yeah, the training's pretty easy, simple. I can walk you through it. It's real simple and easy. But yeah, it's just really bringing a lot of awareness, you know, showing everybody where everything is and you know, what to turn on or off, or and who to call and how to respond. There's a lot of it.
Curtis, how far out, I know we're out of date, but is this something that needs to be done immediately? We're so out of date.
I would probably recommend it.
Is it something that was budgeted in your budget? Okay.
There's some stuff I'm kinda finding, you know.
As
down
you're going?
I brought a
Midwest
list.
Ener- I'm sorry.
Oh,
Like I said, they do Midwest Energy and, quite a few counties and stuff.
Also brought a complete list of all of our clients. We have over 300 clients, over 800 locations that we help. We have, I think, between 50 and 60 power plants that we currently serve. I'll leave all this material with you guys if you want to look at it. And I got a couple of these. I'll leave a couple of these. Looks like you got one.
Oh, yeah, it's right here. So if we choose to do this, how fast can you guys get it done?
That's a good question. Rick is going to come back through here in May. He comes back through. He was just here last week. We just missed you guys, but.
And then how long, in the eyes of the EPA, are we up to date with our plan?
So once you let us help you update your plan, you're good for 5 years. So you could take that 2,600, divide it by 5, and that's really, you know, what it is per year. And then typically Rick, when he renews or updates a plan that he done originally, he does it at a reduced rate.
Because you'd just be updating certain
Yeah,
changes. You
certain
wouldn't be
changes,
updating
yeah.
the whole-
And another thing about Rick is you can call him anytime. Anytime. If you have any questions, any issues, we have people that have EPA show up and they're like freaking out, they don't know what to do, and they call Rick, and if there's any issues, Rick he helps them take care of it and reduce fines and things like that if there's anything like that. He actually worked for EPA 30 years ago, and he's been unemployed now for almost 30 years. That's what he says. I've never seen anybody work as hard. He's a couple years older than I am. You can see I'm an old man, and he still has a lot of energy and still likes working. He likes producing. He likes doing what he does.
So have we done business with you before?
Stafford County, we done.
No.
Oh,
The city.
the
Same
city.
job.
I don't know. I didn't see on the list. And this list is only current clients. We don't keep anything.
I was just wondering if this is gonna be a quick update for us at a reduced rate, or is this gonna be the full deal?
Yeah, I don't see on the list.
But if you don't know. that's
I
fine.
don't see on the list.
Does this cover all of the facilities in the city, or just the power plant?
Well, that is a really good question.
We've got a nitrate plant, we've got a sewer plant.
It's only gonna cover, the only thing a spill prevention plan is concerned about is oil and fuel products. That's all it's concerned about.
We've got a generator at the sewer plant.
Okay, so the only time you're required to have a spill prevention plan, you're bringing up some good points, is when you have over 1,320 gallons of oil or fuel stored above ground in a 55-gallon drum or larger. So if those facilities are less than 1,300 gallons, they don't require a spill prevention plan. Does that make sense? Does that help?
How big is the fuel tank at the
It's
nitrate?
less than that.
Less than
So yeah, those are good things to keep in mind too, as you're building your facilities. you know, just so to, you know, work around those kinds of things. Those are great questions.
So you would require, so it's 1,320 gallons total for a facility, but if you had one tank that was 100 gallons, you would need a spill prevention.
If you had a
Because
1,300,
it's over 55 gallons.
well, once you go over 1,320 gallons aggregate altogether, like 55 gallon drum or larger, once you get over 1,320 gallons at that facility, then you're required an SBCC. Does that make sense?
Well, I guess where does the 55 gallon drum, cause that's 55
They
gallons.
use, I know, they use that, it's actually in that, you'll see it in that, this thing I got from the government.
Okay.
If you look through that, I don't know why they use a 55 gallon drum, but they're looking at a container that holds 55 gallons or more. They just use a drum, I guess that's where their breaking point was. So a generator can have over 55 gallons, and if you have a generator, we'll count that. Does that make sense? I mean, I don't know, EPA doesn't make any sense to me.
No, that's fine. I thought maybe it was saying if you have one, like, if the facility, you know, maybe you had,
5 gallons.
if you had 10 50 gallon
10,
containers
they won't count them.
and you're
I know.
1,000 gallons, but if you had one that was 60 gallons, you would need a report because it's over the 55 gallon.
They're only gonna count 55 gallon size containers or more. That's all they're gonna count. So, you know, they make a lot of 30 gallon cans, a lot of 30 gallon cans, they don't count those. I still would, you know, put them in a containment, I mean, even if it's, you know, not counted, but. Those were really good questions. I was afraid you was gonna ask me something I couldn't answer. And this, so, you know, you were talking about the city, we have done SBCCs for cities. And I know, and you'd have to talk to Rick, and Rick, when, next time he comes through, he'd be more than happy to stop and talk to you about, you know, your city. I don't know, you know, what you're, you know, where you're at or what you got going on, but,
If he's coming back through in May, when would be the next time? I guess if we haven't budgeted for this, would it make more sense to try to do this report towards the end of the year when we know where we're at with our budget, in case storm comes through or whatever, if it's not an immediate necessity?
Yeah, just for $2,500, and at the same time, if something does hit the fan, that's kind of.
Yeah, we're not talking about a huge thing here, but I just didn't know if that would
I
make
mean,
sense.
something, yeah, we can budget it, like I said.
No, when I hear we're not current, I think it's something we need to be current until we hear how he'll be by in May. It sort of took the urgency away, you know, so what is, you know, you're not really selling, we need to do it now. You know, you're just saying, oh, he'll be by in May, so I don't really know how we take that.
well, okay, so the reason I say it like that is because this man is covering a lot of ground. He's traveling all over. I would say do it in May. I mean, I would do it in May while he's here, but you know, I didn't want to just come out and say that. But I mean, that's when he's here. Yeah, and I appreciate that. I appreciate what you're saying.
So he just wasn't, he meant he was coming through to possibly do it in May, not to sort of think about it in May.
Yeah, we'd like to help you in May. We'd like to help you when he comes back through, so.
What does it cost to get an inspection, so we know what we're up against?
Rick can do that. Rick can do an inspection for you. I mean, it wouldn't cost anything with the plan. He'll do the plan and he can do an inspection. He's gonna probably have a few things for you to fix or take care of when he does the plan. He'll do an audit. He's a certified steel tank inspector from the Steel Tank Institute. So when he does your tanks, if he doesn't need tank integrity testing, he can do a periodic inspection for those tanks at that time. And he can tell you, you know, if there's anything EPA or KDHE has a concern with, he can let you know at that time for free when he does a plan.
Cause he has to come on site and do that all.
He
to make the
does.
Plan.
He has to come on
Right.
site, he has to take pictures
Yeah.
and gather information.
How do they do their integrity test? Do they drill the tank,
No, he's got a machine, it's a,
X-ray?
he puts it on several different places on the tank, and it measures the thickness of the tank.
You put down like a little cream and it measures the thickness of it.
Yeah, the
Like
integrity-
same way they do
Like
oil.
NCR, kinda like what NCRA does and stuff like that on their tanks.
And he'll be able to look for other things too, the piping and all that. He'll be able to look at everything. He's really good at what he does. Part of the reason why him and his grandson did this, learn to be these certified steel tank inspectors, because it's a very important piece of the spill prevention plan. In fact, that was another piece, I think that's what you got right there that you printed. It talks about bulk storage and tank integrity test. That's an important component of that plan. A lot of people don't realize that those go hand in hand together. And you guys are welcome to call me anytime if a question comes up. If I can't answer it, I'll get Rick, and Rick's happy to help answer questions anytime.
I would say it's probably something you should do.
Yeah. I'd say let's table it and talk about it again next week. We got a little bit of time. Or not next week, the next
So,
session.
yeah, so if he's coming around in May, do you have to get scheduled in for him to come? Well, I mean, I know he's in that area in May, but does he block out
Yeah, so
2 weeks for this region or?
usually what we'll do is I'll call a week ahead and say, hey, he's gonna be in the area. We kind of think it might be Tuesday, Wednesday. If you want, I'll call you the day or two before, give you a better idea. And I can do that for you folks, it's no problem. Give you a good
But
idea.
To do that, you wanna know if we're doing it or not doing it.
Well, yeah, Rick, it's just like any other business. He's gotta make the best of his time. I mean, he'd stop and talk to you, it wouldn't be a problem, but yeah, we really do need to try to be as efficient with our time as possible. We had a gentleman, an aviation place that he was waiting on a tank, and he wanted us to be there right after he got his tank. He's getting his tank tomorrow. And it was really important because I guess they got some show, they're gonna have a bunch of people at this thing, and he wanted to know, and so he told me the tank was gonna be there tomorrow, so I got with Rick. Rick said he thinks it's gonna be Tuesday or Wednesday, so I called the guy and he said, I'd really like it, we'd really like it if he'd be here Friday. So I called Rick, and Rick checked with his grandson, and we're gonna be there Friday at 10:30, it's in Topeka, but I mean, we'll bend over backwards for folks, you know, we will. We're in the relationship building business.
Well, where I'm at, thanks, I don't have any questions. I think we should table it, read up. It's a lot of stuff to take in to make a decision to schedule an appointment right now. We've got a little bit of time to talk about, and if something we wanna do, then we'll just call and say we'd like to schedule him when he comes through.
Ultimately, we would just need a motion to spend that because it's about the minimum, right? And then it'd be up to Curtis to schedule and everything.
I don't know how, if you, I think maybe Pam needs to be involved, she knows where the money's coming from, if it's not in the budget. You didn't account for it.
I think we need to table it until the next.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I make a motion to table this to old business for the next council meeting.
Got a motion on the table here, second,
Second.
second by Aaron, any more discussion?
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
For letting
thank
me
you.
see.
Thank you for coming in.
Sure. All right, have a good evening.
Motion and a second on the table, all in favor? All opposed? That's 4-0. Okay, the second addition to the agenda, 2023 audit report, represented Adams Brown Bear Ball by Delaney. I think that's Delaney.
Yep, I'm Delaney and I'm from the Great Bend office with Adams Brown. I'm one of the auditors that helps him charge and goes through the audit. So I'll kind of just briefly go over it. I'm not going to go into deep detail of stuff, but just some things that we either found and then just a general overview of what our audit reports have. But I do always like to say if you get further looking into it later on and you have questions, you can send them to Pam or any of the city staff and they can always send them on to us and we can help answer anything you have. But I'll start with this loose letter that is inside the bound report. This is our governance letter, and this letter is to let you know we didn't encounter any difficulties during the audit or any disagreements with management. In this letter, we also know any internal control issues that we came across or any recommendations that we'd have for the city. We did have one material weakness and one significant deficiency, and if you turn to page 3, this is where you'll see the material weakness. So material weakness that we had this year has to do with encumbrances and accounts payable. And this is just like when council approves items, if they're not paid until that next year, we just have to make sure that we're encumbering those and putting those on the books for the year that they're approved. And then accounts payable has to do with, the one accounts payable we did have was with utilities. It was actually December utilities, even though it's not billed until January, it's still a utility that's being used in that 2023 year. So we just kind of noted that. I've gone over with Pam on those, and so she was aware of the encumbrances and the accounts payable to kind of help further that. Then page 4 is where you'll find the significant deficiency, and this is a very common one. With a city your size, it's proper segregation of duties. It's hard to have enough staff to cover every single process, and so this is very common with a city your size. Okay. So we'll jump to the bound report. And if you turn to pages 1, 2, and 3, this will look very similar to prior audits. This is our independent auditor's report. And this is where your opinion is actually issued. So if you look at paragraphs 2 and 3, 2 shows that you receive an adverse opinion on US GAAP. You waive that each year. And then paragraph 3 is your opinion on regulatory basis, which is KMAG, and you received an unmodified opinion, and that's the cleanest opinion that you can receive on a KMAG audit. As for the next couple pages of this letter, it just kind of goes over what it means to have an audit done on your financial statements, and it also kind of lets you know what management's responsibilities are compared to what our auditor's responsibilities are. So we always just recommend to take a look at that so you can kind of see what the city's actually having audited, what our responsibilities, and then what management would be doing. Okay, and then if we jump over to page 4, page 4 is your cash summary. So this is the financial statement that your opinion is actually issued on. The city pools cash, so it's one collective statement, and then it's each individual fund breakdown. At the end of 2023, your cash, unencumbered cash, did decrease $108,529. Okay, and then we turn over to page 5. Pages 5 through 11, this is just the footnotes for the financial statements. It kind of gives you an overview of accounting policies, and then the footnotes that explain the kind of better makeup of the financial statements. And when we review financial statements, we also look at statute compliance. The city did not have any compliance issues this year, so you will not see anything noted as that in the footnotes. Okay, and then we'll jump over to page 12. And page 12 is your long-term debt schedule. So you can kind of see each of the loans, when the future payments will be, when they'll be paid off, and then the current payments or additions that were made in the current year. As of 12/31 of 2023, the debt balance is at $1,368,489 and is expected to be paid off in 2033. Okay, and then if we jump over to page 13. Page 13 is your budget to actual report. This will show you the current year expenditures in accordance to the budget. There was no budget violations in this year, so you'll see that there's no going over on the budget. And then the next several remaining pages is each of the funds, and it gives you a more detailed breakdown of each fund, how much was spent for revenues coming in, how much was spent for expenditures. I won't go through each individual one, but it does have comparison from prior year to current year and then also to budget, so you can see how each line item is spent and the comparison to each. I won't go through each of them, but if you have questions, I know it's quick going through all of this, but if you come up with anything, we can also help later on as well. And that is what I have for you.
It's a lot to
Yes. Yep, I completely understand that. If you guys don't have any questions right now, but if you do think of something, please feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to help answer any of those.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for your time. You have a great evening.
Anybody got any discussion on the budget?
No.
Okay, moving on, I'd entertain a motion to add a Kansas dirt bill to the consent agenda for an amount of $27,755.04. Wait a minute.
We have.
I'm
yeah.
wrong. I gotta back up here. Consent agenda, approve the regular minutes for council meeting minutes, March 5th, 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve regular council meeting minutes for March 5th, 2024.
A motion on the table here, second. Second by Aaron. All in favor? All opposed? That's a 4-0. Okay, under appropriation ordinance, I entertain a motion for the first one. Appropriation ordinance 031924 AP for the amount of $27,607.79.
I'll make a motion to pay, or for the payment of appropriation ordinance 031922 Alpha Papa for $27,607.79.
Got a motion on the table?
Second.
Yeah, a second by Aaron. All in favor? All opposed? Passes 4-0. I entertain a motion for petty cash for $160.
I'll make a motion for petty cash for $160.
Motion on the table, your second?
Second.
Motion on second, all in favor? That's 4-0. Entertain a motion on the table for Mandel Concrete Construction for the, gazebo, amount of $5,450. For $450.
Can we have a little discussion before that? Or do we have-
I was gonna open it for discussion.
Oh, okay. Well, I feel more, I mean, if, I know it's done and it had to be done, but there's no point out, it's over the estimate. So,
Did you, on the bill?
I saw the notes that she made.
There was,
How does that,
it looked like there was the actual, it was 4,500, which was the bid, and that was for the gazebo. But then we must have had them do a concrete approach on West Fourth. Where was that at?
No, it was up there, 471 or 417 or something like that. It's just right past, Chris Mansell's alley on 4th Street right there.
Okay.
The house they're doing right there on the corner, all that work to it, that little house on the corner of West and 4th. It's 2 houses down from there.
Okay.
Got hit with a,
that's in the,
blade when we were cleaning snow for driveways.
Oh, okay, gotcha. And then there's concrete for a hole on Main Street, I guess, so that's why it's more. So the actual bid was the same, but then there was the addition of those 2 concrete jobs that they went ahead and had to do.
where did we get the
I thought it was
3,000?
2,000. That's what we have to see.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why I was
okay.
like, there's a big difference between. 3 and 5450, so I was just saying, question, I mean,
I didn't remember that, I guess.
So is this some, when we run it, cost being over what we're anticipating, does she contact any of us to let us know, or do we just find out?
She told
after
me
the
a
fact?
little something about, she thought that Chris recommended they, once they got into it, they, and I don't remember the detail, add something, and it was gonna cost a little more, but I think she felt like she was under the gun to get that thing poured, so like we can get the gazebo and get it ready for Jubilee.
Oh, she
It's kinda
reached
what
out
I-
to you, that's nice.
But I don't remember what the detail was of what they added or what they changed or off the top of my head.
The one on Main Street and the one down Fort should have been built separate.
should be built separate,
Mhm.
but we should probably be on 2 different.
Yeah, because that one, the guys did the work down there, we just paid for the concrete, cause we didn't have a small load charge. So he just added on to that truck when they were doing these,
That's, yeah, the rest of the everything's not, what we voted on was just to do the
and then
concrete.
paid for the
Right.
concrete and a little bit of labor down there on that one.
But it's still just, it was still 4,500 for just the gazebo, I think. Well, I'm saying, well, the bid may have been 2,000, but the bill was 4,500 for that specifically.
Yeah,
probably
so it should have been billed twice, 4,500 and the rest, and then the rest could have just went under their regular spending authority. But I mean, we just got one bill from Mansell.
Do you know how she normally handles stuff like this? No? Okay. Well, what do you guys feel comfortable doing? I guess that's what I'm asking.
Work's done, so.
Okay.
I mean, we could ask her about it next time or whatever, but there's something that had to change from what the bid was, and I think she, like I said, she fell under the gun to get that pad done and do it right, which is where I think it's went from 3,500 to 4,500. But I don't remember the explanation on what it was, though.
If she didn't talk to you about it.
Yeah, I just don't remember the detail of what it was, and I don't think at that point she knew exactly how much it was gonna be, but I remember it being a fairly small amount, but,
Yeah, the
I
proposal
don't
was
think she-
3,000.
so it was 1,500 more.
Mhm.
Well, I'll make a motion, you guys tell me what you think. Make a motion to pay Mansell Concrete for the amount of $5,450, which is invoice number 32,810, and Pam can just put it in the accounts that she's gonna put it in the accounts too.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I'll second it.
Got a motion on the table, a second, any more discussion on it, do we need to add something that there's a little bit added to that? For different? Other than the gazebo, or do you think it'd be okay?
I mean, we could, I guess, we could add it as an old business item for next meeting to get a clarification from Pam. Is that an appropriate way to do that? I mean,
If there's
we're
two,
approving the,
but if the money went to 2 different places,
needs to be 2
you need
motions.
to have two, because if something else comes up later, you're gonna want, well, what did we do with that, you know, it needs to be
Separate.
separated out.
They-
I think.
If they happen to audit, they could pick that up as,
So do we need to request a separate bill, or can we separate the motion based on the line items on the bill?
We can just table it, have Pam figure it out. I'll make a motion to table it until next week when Pam can. Cause I'm with you as far as if they're separate accounts, separate invoices.
Yeah, I think we.
and just let her go ahead and pay the bill if we get it paperwork straight.
We need a,
Well-
yeah, or,
We need a motion to pay the bill, don't we?
Yeah.
yes.
So, I mean, I think we need to, I would feel better if this was our first meeting of the month, to table it to the next, cause then we're still paying them in the same month that it was invoiced to us. But, I think the city probably needs to get him paid. Maybe it's not that big of a deal, but we just need two separate motions to pay it.
Actually, I would think it should be separated, cause that's under the spending unit, spending allowance of Pam.
So she would,
They all
if
pay
it
a
was,
different account.
yeah, so if it was a separate invoice, then we wouldn't even need an approval for that $950.
How much was the one for the Main Street and Fourth?
$950,
That's below my spending limit, so.
right, so we just need a separate invoice for Mansell, and you guys can.
And then
pay
that, just for the park, or whatever that cost, yeah.
But that was done by him, which is fine, because if you get a load of cement, it's a minimum. And if they didn't use it all, they used it up over somewhere else.
Right. So we need to request an invoice from
Showing where the
Mansell.
other money went.
Right.
We need to request a more detailed invoice.
Yeah,
for
I
the
can call him and get two several ones if you
For the
want.
gazebo, and just get a second invoice that's for the $950,
Mhm.
so that Pam can go ahead and pay the $950, and we don't even need a motion to approve that. But then we ask him for maybe a little bit more detailed invoice on that 4,500, that maybe has a note on there why it was above that $3,000 bid.
I'm sure, I mean, Pam knows,
Yeah,
because, I mean, yeah, we talked about it, but I don't,
just don't remember the
I
specifics.
don't remember.
We need to rephrase that motion.
Should I table it?
Yeah, he's got a table here.
Well, I think we should just pay what's due, and I mean, if we need an explanation, she can give it to us. I mean, I don't think we're not gonna pay the bill.
We're gonna pay the bill.
We're gonna pay
Yeah,
them.
but I just think it needs to be specified where the money went. This went to here, this went to here, something like that.
Then with what you're saying is it's all going to this invoice, which doesn't, it's not separated. I mean, it's separated by hand notes.
It's separated, but it's not got any description on it, does it? Yeah, it does too.
Concrete pad for gazebo, 4,500.
I mean, she might take this invoice and then put it in the correct account when it's
Yeah,
time
that
to pay
would-
it.
it would come out of two different
4,500
accounts.
for wherever we voted to take the gazebo money out, and then she'll take the $950 out of Jason's budget. Would be my guess, but.
But do you need two separate motions to take money from two separate accounts on the same invoice?
It sounds like you could do the motion to pay the 4,500, and then he doesn't need the motion to.
Once it's-
Because I'm not over the
So,
spending.
I think if you
So we
just do
just
the
need
motion to
one
pay the
for
4,500 for the gazebo,
Okay,
then,
which,
then it can be done.
okay,
I'm just trying to keep us out of trouble.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
okay, I
We'll
retract that last
retract
motion.
that.
I'll make a motion to pay invoice number 38, or 32810 to Mansell for $4,500.
Second.
Got a motion on the table, and a second, any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Passes 4-0. Okay, and then we've got a, entertain a motion for LTEC Industries for an amount of $3,571.65. Is that on the bucket truck?
How's that tool
We
circuit?
should have it for traffic.
Was that in the budget?
That was actually bid and approved last year. I don't know why we're just getting billed right now.
Yeah, so I thought it was a little, we thought it had been paid a long time ago.
He just received that.
So yeah, it was like November, December, wasn't it? Or was it even older than that?
I thought it got approved before that, and maybe they came worked on it in November, I thought it was.
I just thought it was already paid.
Well, it
Motion.
was November 7th.
Make a motion that we approve the Altech Industries invoice in the amount of $3,571.65.
Second.
Motion on the table and a second, any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed?
Those
You
in
were
favor?
favor?
No, those in
Favor.
favor. Those
4-0.
just late.
Okay, the last, appropriation ordinance is, need a motion for, Kansas Dirt, to be paid for taking houses down, I believe, and I think they're.
Those two
invoicing
Broadway
them.
houses.
Hmm.
Those two Broadway
Glass
houses.
Talk and, I had that paper, Maher, in the amount of $27,755.04. You should have that in your packet. Shows the breakdown of it, I think.
Was that just recently done, or it's been done?
Last fall,
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's,
Oh, those two,
yeah,
okay.
me too.
I don't know what I saw in here, but.
Well,
The one
I
was
saw it
really
a while ago, I
expensive
don't know
because
what
it was
that was.
full of, yeah. So it was
Lots of
basically,
loads.
yeah, 18,000 and 8,000, one which was.
I didn't write down the amounts, so here I got the motion.
I make a motion that we approve the invoice from Kansas Dirt in the amount of $27,755.04.
Motion on the table here, second.
Second.
Second by Aaron, motion by Aaron, and second by Aaron. Any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Okay, that winds up with the consent agenda. Department heads, Curtis, what do you got?
I don't know if she put it in the pack or not, but I had a request for a couple pad melt transformers. There's out of 5 people I've got a hold of, this guy's the one I supposed to have some in stock. And I think it's, I don't know how much she did, but I think it's like $3,400 and some dollars a piece.
I think I
I
saw
thought I
that
saw
in
it.
the packet, and it looked like they quoted 3, but you're just wanting 2.
Yeah, it's just 2. He said he had 3, that's basically what he put it down.
Okay, gotcha.
And the only thing is like, look at the lead time on it. It's 26
26 to 28.
to 28 weeks. So that kind of puts you in line.
And we're out of stock, we've got one left, or
We're out right now.
we're out?
I'm gonna use one here in the future and we'll have one back up. If we get approved for 2 of them.
What would that be? I make a motion to approve the purchase of 2 pad mount transformers at $3,590 a piece, totaling $7,180.
Motion on the table here, second. And a second by Kyle. Any more discussion?
So is this something we budgeted for? Oh, okay.
Have a motion and a second.
Mhm.
Discussion over?
Yep.
All in favor? All opposed? Passes 4-0. Anything else, Curtis?
No, that should be it.
Water Department, Jason.
Well, first thing, I need to order salt by, or next week, and I can't honestly remember if it was $5,800 or $6,800 that it took the last time. So if you guys give me the okay to get that load for 7,000, that should get it. I think it was 5,600 is what the salt cost for that out there at the nitrate plant. And that's it for the water. You guys would let me write that down to get that ordered for next week, that would be great.
I'd make a motion.
And I'm sorry, I didn't have it on there, I just thought about it this morning, the guys told me we were that low, so.
I'd make a motion for Jason to buy a load of salt up to $7,000.
Second.
Motion on the table and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor? All
Thank
opposed?
you. And the last one I have is on the streets. Are we good?
Yeah, he was just saying motion pass for it.
Oh,
Yep,
sorry.
You're good.
The next one's on the streets, and we have to get a set of tracks for the skid steer. And that's why I got 2 bids in there, and I'll explain those ones here. On the Bobcat, if you look at it, they put a $640 labor bid in there. Without that, we were just gonna do those ourselves because the labor bid for Murphy was pretty high. So we talked to Alan, and Alan thought we could do that pretty simple. And so the lowest one with Bobcat is $4,476.58 without the labor. And then Murphy's is $474
That's got $1,500 of labor on it.
474138. So
So you need an approval, I guess Murphy is cheaper, cause they've got $1,500 of labor on there. So can you order those parts for that 3,104?
through them, we'll have to get it through them. Yes.
Or were you,
And so that I was just throwing it out there. That's both of them included with labor, but we could get them without it. I mean, we could do the work ourselves because then we'd have to take time to haul it there to Wichita or Great Bend or wherever, you know. And we were just going to do that. We figured we'd get it done in a day, under a day, with both of us.
I mean, it looks like the parts are cheaper with Murphy as well.
Yeah. That's
So-
why I wanted you to just look at them and then go from there. And then if you guys decide to put them on, they're getting pretty bald. We sat there and get in a ditch the other day, and it's a nice grass, and it was just tearing it up pretty badly. And so it's just because it just sits there and just keeps grinding in that grass, and we're not getting nowhere because there's just bald. It's just a bald track.
Are you gonna change the sprockets too?
Yeah.
What kind of tools you have to have to change the sprockets?
Yeah.
Well, the way it looks, we have to sit there. We have the impact. We have the sockets to do it. We have the grease gun to get everything changed and suck back in, and then
Okay.
push back out with the grease
I'm
gun.
assuming that's like.
They don't have to be pressed on?
Yeah.
But I might just add it just in case. I'm not sure what this miscellaneous is on the Murphy quote. I'm assuming that's probably like shop supplies.
That's what I'm thinking. So
But
yes.
in case it's not shop supplies, we
Yeah.
should probably add that.
See, that's why I was just gonna go with the labor, or the parts.
Just the part.
Yes.
Well, I might add that $107 to the motion, just in case it
Okay.
has something to do with
Yeah, that's fine.
them ordering it or shipping or some, getting it in,
That's
just in
fine.
case.
Yeah.
Grease, Jason.
That's my guess, is it
Could be,
grease or
probably.
something, but.
Probably. We have.
Do you have any concern buying it from John Deere? I mean,
No,
Okay.
no, I don't actually.
just wanna make sure and, I'd make a motion to purchase the parts needed to replace the tracks on the Bobcat from Murphy Equipment, in the amount of $3,211.38.
Motion on the table, second by Aaron. Any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Passes 4-0.
And that's it for me. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Jason.
Got a question for
Any
you.
questions, Jason?
I know you've been hitting the alleys and they look good, so thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Is there gonna be a schedule for grading where we dump yard waste and stuff? As far as the water settlement,
For instance.
You're talking about kind of
the county? Where people go and dump yard waste, branches?
Oh yeah,
the dump.
yeah.
Do we
We're trying
grade
to.
that, or does it just get depressed when they bulldoze?
Well,
it?
we're saying what we decided. We decided to start hauling that over to that little empty field where the sources were, and we were going to start scattering it out, and then I was going to get in the grader and start just smoothing it out to get rid of that.
I know
pile.
we've talked about it several times before I was on the council, and I never knew if that was like on a schedule, that we just do it,
You mean to spread it out?
or just to take care of the depressions out there that when it rains that it floods.
Isn't he talking about the road? Aren't you talking about the road?
No, I'm talking about, oh shit.
You're talking about out the tree dump.
Yeah.
Where we dump, where everybody backs in there and dumps it and everything like this.
Right.
What were you wanting to know about that?
Is that on a schedule to grade, just to keep it level and so that there's no flooding out there?
Well, not
When it
really.
rains.
Just the road. We go out and do the road with a drag.
I don't think
But-
there's a way to avoid
but there's-
standing water out there.
Yeah,
We've
there's no
battled
drain,
it
no drainage.
forever.
That's what I'm
He
getting at.
just drains it to go to, and it just
To the north,
pulls
yeah.
in the north. And then, so at least people can back
Drive
in
up on
and
the
dump
south.
on the south. I mean, they've battled it ever since I've been on. It's
Okay.
just not a good way
Yeah.
to get the water to drain out of there. Or, I mean, I felt like they've tried to,
And
yeah, so the best is just to pool the water on the north, and when it rains a lot, then you can't make
that move.
the loop, so you gotta go south and then back your trailer in. I mean, it's a pain for some people.
Well, if anything, some of them drive on the top of the grass around the half moon there and get up out of there. They'll go that route.
All right, well, that was my question.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
Any more questions for Jason? Moving on, Tori, you got anything? You got any questions for Tori as far as council? Fire Chief, Mike,
I don't have anything.
moving on, City Clerk, Paul, you have nothing? Pam's gone, clerk, school. Danny, you got, you wanna do that executive session down below afterwards, or?
That's fine by me. That's all that I have.
Can
Any
you,
questions for them?
well, I'll ask them.
Okay, we'll move that, we'll have that executive session. Old business. Any property code violations or anything we need to take off? We should take off Glasscock, or has it already been removed?
The Broadway houses have both been removed.
Glasscock,
It was on Broadway. Yeah, it's gone.
so all these is, still need to be stayed?
Yeah.
Swimming pool,
Anything update?
Just waiting on them, pool renovations. He said he said he'll let us know, we'll try to get him back as quick as we can.
Have they fixed the leak or they found it and need to fix it?
They need to fix it, we found it. After they dug up the whole thing, except for that much, they couldn't find it. And Dell stuck his hand down there one time and we found it. Digging out sand, and that's what it is, we're waiting.
okay, anything else on the swimming pool? Moving on, Epic proposal for economic development, anything there?
That went, everything submitted? On her notes? Yeah.
That's good. Do we have any idea? Have you heard anything on timeline when we might hear back? Okay.
Any other questions? Fifth Street Road, White Freightliner, we got any information on that?
I guess that was the,
The grants due
That's-
Friday.
that's the grant.
You know, she got all the letters.
Yes, we did.
Good.
Just the water tower?
We just decided,
I think we just put on old business, but I don't know that there's anything more to discuss at this point.
no,
Move that to old business?
Yeah, I think we just give regular inspections every 2 or
Yeah.
3 years and we'll fix what we need to fix as they come across. Enter the maintenance program.
Do we gonna take that off?
That'll be my opinion, to take it off.
Make a motion that we remove water tower from old business.
Yep. Motion and a second on the table, any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed, passes 4-0. Any new business?
oh, I guess we're talking about Mark?
Oh, yeah. We
Anything
could
health
do that.
related should be in executive, but if you wanna nominate the interim,
Yeah.
that can be done.
Okay, so we're gonna, I'd like to make a motion to nominate someone for interim president. Guess that's all I can say, right? Yeah.
Got a motion on the table?
Do you have a name as part of your motion?
Sure.
Our two senior list members over there, does anyone wanna volunteer?
I can do it.
Okay. Make a motion for Kyle Bunker to be an interim president for the council.
Motion on the table, here a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor? All opposed, passes 4-0. Kyle's the new president here for the time being, interim. Depending on what happens with Mark. Executive session, entertain one for 10 minutes for attorney-client
make a motion to go into a 10-minute executive session to discuss attorney-client privilege
With everybody at the table.
with everyone at the table.
Motion on the table on the second,
Second.
all in favor? All opposed? Going into executive session. Call regular council meeting back into order.
I make a motion that we go into a 5-minute attorney-client privilege, or 5-minute executive session to discuss attorney-client privilege, to include everyone at the table,
And what time?
to adjourn at 8:27.
A motion, second,
Second.
all in favor? All opposed? Passes 4-0. Any more business that you guys wanna discuss? In the council meeting? If not, somebody wants to go home, we'll go home.
Make a motion that we adjourn, regular council meeting, March 19th, 2024.
Got a motion on the table to adjourn,
Second.
and a second by Aaron. Motion by Aaron, second by Aaron. Everybody wanna vote yes? We're adjourned.